It may be that we are connected by our love of cycling, but at the same time we can set off for so many reasons that it is impossible to list them all. Some people are interested in the landscapes, some people are interested in the people living in the landscape. Someone is looking for beautiful settlements, someone else is looking for uninhabited wide regions. Sometimes we travel for a good cafe, sometimes for the view of the mountains or water bodies. But there are situations when performance motivates us. We want to push our limits. This can be expressed in many ways, but the bottom line is that sometimes we ride specifically to stay in motion, as long as possible.
Hi guys, good morning. It's very early, 5:45. Welcome to my new video, and in the same time, welcome to Slovenia. More specifically, I'm right near the Hungarian-Slovenian border in a nice little village called Hodos. I'm at the railway station, you can see there, because I'm waiting for the train to leave. At first I will travel by train to the other side of the country. It's not a very huge country, so it's easy. I'm gonna travel to the Italian border by train. At first by this one.
I first took a train to Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, where I transferred to another train to Jesenice. I had time to run off for a quick cafe, and then I could travel very comfortable with my bike on the train. In Jesenice I barely had a few minutes to transfer to my next train, which took me through locations with a wide landscape straight to Nova Gorica at the Italian border. I got off the train in fantastic sunshine in the early afternoon. Well, why did I travel here in such a hurry? Of course, because Nova Gorica was the starting point of my bike tour. However, the story is a bit more complicated this time. I intended to take part in a BRM tour, the start of which was in this town. But what is a BRM? The Brevet de Randonnée Mondiaux is a performance-oriented touring cycling event. The original organization was founded in France 100 years ago. I now intended to go on a 600-kilometer BRM tour organized by the Slovenian Randonnée Club. The name of the event was Let's Go to the Dolomites. BRM tours have their own set of rules, the most important of which is that the distance must be completed within a specified time.
There are different types of BRM tours. The difference is basically the distance itself. There is BRM 200, 300, 400, 600 and 1000 with their own time limit. For example, BRM600 has the time limit 40 hours. I will ride mainly in northern Italy, a very short section in Slovenia actually. I will have to climb several high mountain passes as well, but in the same time there will be 200 kilometers continuous section like tabletop on the coastal plain of northern Italy.
I finally started from Nova Gorica at 3 p.m.
Okay, I have just started the tour. I'm already in Italy, of course, but still in Gorizia. Guys, wish me good luck. I'm gonna need it.
The first part of the tour was completely flat. A very pleasant tailwind helped me on my way, and at most only the relatively heavy traffic and the slightly high temperature affected my mood. I wasn't overly happy with the latest weather forecasts either, because according to them, dramatic changes had to occur within hours. I reached the Alps at Gemona del Friuli. The image of the plains that prevailed until now has been replaced by huge mountains.
Uh-oh! A shower, but now it's a huge one! Oh! I will have to get some shelter, I think.
Soon I turned towards Tolmezzo, and the journey of more than 50 kilometers to the first high mountain pass of the tour, the 1,300 meter high Passo Mauria, began. It was slowly getting dark. I stopped for coffee in a small village, then continued my journey with renewed energy. Climbing the Mauria has not yet been a particular problem. Even so, my average speed dropped a lot on the long climb. Rolling down, I aimed for my next challenge, the 1,800 meter height of the Tre Croci Pass. At this point, I have to tell you something. In addition to the obvious challenge of the 600 kilometer tour, I set myself an additional goal. I definitely wanted to do it with an unrealistic amount of stuff on the bike and no sleep. I needed this because there were already much more serious tours on my list, for which I wanted to prepare here now by pushing my limits. What could be the maximum I can still endure? In the dark night, I was now climbing higher and higher between giant mountains towards the pass. At that time, the weather turned much worse, and what was even more unpleasant, I also got in the first serious neither, which I could hardly overcome. On Tre Croci, the ice-cold rain was already falling with great intensity, so before starting the descent, I got all my rain clothes on me, so as not to get too wet. Arriving in Cortina Ampezzo, there was no question of resting. I immediately faced to the 2,000 mountain passes and started the fight. I felt horribly tired, but at least the rain did me the favor of slowing down a bit and then stopping completely.
So, I'm in the infamous Dolomites or Dolomite Mountains. Riding is dangerous here because you don't watch the road, but the mountains.
Having reached the 2,100 meter height of the Passo Falzarego, of course I couldn't sit back yet, The ascent continued to the sign of the Valparola Pass, which is already located at an altitude of almost 2,200 meters. Here I got off the bike for a few minutes and walked a bit to shake off my legs. I already deserved this. Here you cannot forget the bloody battles that the Italian and Austro-Hungarian troops fought with each other at that time. Starting the descent, I also passed the famous First World War military building, which has since been converted into a museum. My struggle was not at all as cruel as those who fought on this front at that time. Nevertheless, I was aware that there were 3 more passes that were higher than 2000 meters before I had to go descend back to the coastal plain. I descended from Valparola to the Badio Valley, from where I immediately aimed for the 2121 meter height of the Gardena Pass without any rest. The ascent provided a fantastic experience this time as well. The mountain mass of the Sella dominated the landscape. I could hardly take my eyes off it as I got higher and higher on the serpentines. The sun sometimes shone beautifully, but the weather websites predicted that this serious improvement in the weather would only be temporary. I could only hope that I would be over the 2000 passes by the time the predicted storms hit. At the Gardena Pass, I had to go into the Refugio for a cafe. I ate a cake too. During the descent, it was already clear to me that I ran out of time a little bit. I should have picked up the pace, but I felt that I didn't have strength left. I definitely wanted to get over the giant passes. I was lucky that even though I had to ride up to huge heights, one after another, the descents weren't too long, so I didn't lose too many altitude before the new climbs. Gardena was followed by the Sella, the highest pass of the Dolomites with its 2240 meters. On the way up there, the rock towers of the Langkofel group dominated the landscape.
This is the Sella Pass, and guys, look at this view.
After the climb, I was rewarded with a fast-moving descent. Fast descent or not, I have not yet been able to give myself over to the joy of unclouded racing. There was one last pass left. The Passo Pordoi is only 1 meter lower than the Sella, so one last time I had to put all my strength into it. I didn't rest much on the pass, but I did pay my respects at the monument of Fausto Coppi, a legendary figure in the Italian cycling. A real winter greeted me on the other side of the pass.
On the other side of the pass, there is plenty of snow. Look at it! It's still winter. Oh, a marmot! How lovely he is! Showers and thunderstorms. I can see my future.
A huge descent awaited me from here, as I had to get all the way to the coast of the Adriatic. So there was a loss of more than 2000 meters in altitude, which did not promise to be easy considering to the upcoming dark clouds. While descending, the point of the tour arrived when I had already been on the road for 24 hours. During this time I completed 310 kilometers, which included a serious 5,300 meters elevation difference. I really hoped that there really wouldn't be many uphill sections for the remaining 300 kilometers, because I had barely 16 hours left until the time limit expired. The weather didn't try to make my job any easier. I was caught in a huge storm. The rain was pouring down, lightning and thunder were incessant. I was forced to go this way for several hours because I had no time left to stop. A young couple stopped their car and offered to take me wherever I was going. I had to explain to them that I would be breaking the rules. Upon reaching the plain, the rain stopped, the landscape turned into beautiful evening lights before the next dark period began. My strength was severely depleted. I stopped in a cafe to rest for a few minutes, then started the last 200 kilometers that looked more and more hopeless. I still had the mathematical chance, but I had been awake for almost 2 days and my fatigue was starting to take over my body. Defeat seemed more and more clear. At dawn I started to hallucinate, but at the same time I also gained new strength. I didn't think that I would be able to increase my average speed again. A huge fight began and I crossed the finish line with 11 minutes left before the end of the time limit. At that point, I hadn't slept a single minute for 51 hours. If I wanted to push the limits, I succeeded. Although I would have preferred to immediately lay down on the bench to sleep, the euphoria of victory filled me with some extra energy for one last time. I went to a bakery shop where I celebrated my successful finish with a cookie cafe combo. After that, recovering my last remaining scraps of strength, I made it to the nearby campsite alive, where, to the great astonishment of the campers, I simply laid down in the shade of a tree and slept until late afternoon. Only then did I set up my tent, and after dinner I went back to sleep. The next day I woke up again full of strength. Now I even had to get home somehow. I left the campsite. Such a great place it was. I met a lot of great people there. I turned my bicycle in the direction of Ljubljana, and after covering nearly 100 kilometers, I reached the capital, from where I traveled to the Hungarian border with the already well-known train to Hódos.
I have just arrived to Hódos, so I'm at the place where everything started. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video.